Let me ask you something. Are you a runner? You a track star? Or are you going to run when it gets hard? You see, when life gets heavy and your mind feels cluttered and stress start piling up, do you run from it or do you train through it? You see, a lot of people don't realize this, but the gym is not only transforming your body, it's really saving your mind. All right, we hear it all the time how working out helps out with stress, and nobody really explains why and what's going on and how powerful it actually is. The gym isn't just about looking good. It's really about emotional control when you think about it, mental clarity, and building a version of yourself that doesn't fold under pressure. It's funny because I get that with a lot of clients. Sometimes trials and tribulation occur, and they're like, Tristan, XYZ happened. I just gotta stop going to the gym. I'm like, nah, that's not how it goes, man. You got to keep going. The gym is actually saving you. Matter of fact, I was talking to a friend of mine in the gym, and I asked him about a particular person. I was like, yo, what happened to so and so? I haven't seen him in a while. He was like, yo, man, I don't know. He said, Tris, I don't know. He said he's talking about he going through it. He got to get his mind right. Pardon me. I was like, that's why he needs to be in the gym. The gym actually helps him with that. He was like, I was trying to tell him. He said, if it wasn't for the gym, I'd have lost my mind, especially these last couple of years. And I'm aware of some of the trials and tribulations this particular person's been going through. So to see him being consistent, going through what he's going through, is really admirable. And not to be taken lightly. You know what I'm saying? It's funny too, because I remember how I even started getting into personal training. How I met this one gentleman. He was talking about, like, yeah, working out. I think he was incarcerated too. Not at the time, obviously, because I'm speaking to him outside in the free world, quote unquote. And he's like, yeah, man, working out really helped him. Got him his peace of mind, his clarity. He learned how to handle stress, deal with people better because of that expression. And I always tell people this, that, and it's a law of thermodynamics, I think, that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It only transfers or changes. So when you have that pent up energy and you're working out, you're definitely channeling it into a more constructive way of expression, rather destructive. And that's probably a lot of times too, when we look at certain demographics, when we take away some of the activities, especially in the inner cities, that's used to cultivate young men who are going through the ages where they're supposed to have that rites of passage. This is a sidebar, by the way. Their rites of passage through sports, whether it's baseball, boxing, basketball, these things are actually tools or instruments to learn how to channel that energy. When you take that away, it goes to the opposite direction or the other extreme where it becomes destructive. And that's a means to an end that you don't want to continue. But I shall continue on the topic. So, stress really isn't about being busy or overwhelmed. Stress is pressure without an outlet, like I just mentioned before. So once we don't have that outlet, it causes a destructive behavior, because that energy is trapped, you know? And when we don't release it, anxiety goes up, frustration, anger, and even depression. So we have to find out ways to do that. Some people in certain fields will talk about writing or reading, or going for a walk. These are things or expressions that we have to use at our disposal in a positive way so we don't feel restless, irritated, or even drained. But one way I always would say to anyone, always exercise. If you're able to move your body, exercise. Trust me, it works. That's why we always say, you got a problem, go to the gym. Break up, go to the gym. Something's on your mind, go to the gym. Because your body is holding on to something that it needs to let go. Even with trauma. I did videos before where I talked about how trauma, our past trauma, is held on even in our expression of how we move the weight. Because that's how I could tell what type of person you are too, by your personality and how you move the weight. Because remember, like I said, everything is a form of expression, right? So here does working out helps, or training comes into play as a solution that you can benefit from, right? So when you're working out, you're doing more lifting weights or running miles, you're actually releasing endorphins, which are natural mood boosters, right? That's why they always say, have you got your daily dose? DOSE, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and epinephrine. These are the feel-good hormones that you release. That's why after working out, you're like, man, I feel so much energized. Or if you're a runner, you talk about having runner's high, right? Like it's almost a euphoric kind of feeling where you can't stop, right? Also, it lowers your cortisol level. That's your stress hormones, right? So therefore, you got a clearer mind in order to think your way through any problem or any issues that you may have, right? And working out, and I did previous videos on it as well, deals with being present in the moment. That's an overlooked aspect of working out because, like I said before, it deals with a physical, then mental, and a spiritual level when you work out, when you tap into higher levels in the expression of working out. So whether it's an hour, 30 minutes, or whatever, you're not thinking about your bills, problems, or even drama. You're locked in, and that's therapy. So don't think therapy is always needed in the sense where you got to be talking to a therapist. It is good though. I do recommend checking on your mental health and getting someone who's qualified in therapy, of course. You know what I mean? So, and that's another aspect of discipline too, because it is a form of therapy. So the real transformation where people miss by working out, you're building mental toughness. I did videos where I interviewed people, and some of them talked about the importance of working out, how it builds their character and mental toughness. And I did videos too, so you can check that out in the playlist. You know what I mean? So with each rep, each set, and you're pushing past your comfort zone, you realize that you can handle the hard things, right? So when life hits you, you don't feel easily broken. You're like, nah, I can do this because X, Y, Z. You can take those workout sessions that you didn't feel like doing it, or you underestimated yourself and realize you're much stronger than you think, you know? So it's the pressure with each set, each rep, you feel it and you get through it. You know, it really shows you not to quit, learning how not to quit. And I talk to clients all the time where I talk to them because the whole surgery thing, everybody wants VBL. And then shout out to y'all who does it. I have no offense to you. I want to do your thing. But there is a variable I believe that's missing when you take the shortcut instead of actually building your body. And that's the character development aspect of it. And the discipline that it takes to get you there. Because it's a part of the journey. See, everybody on the journey wants the end result, but it's the process, it's in between that really makes you who you are. And those are the steps that you skip that I think that are very imperative to your growth and development. That when you go and take the surgical route, you miss that point, that those main steps to get you there. You know what I'm saying? Like I liken it as someone who wins the lotto. They get the money. That's why it says a fool and his money should soon part because he doesn't have the discipline or the knowledge on how to make his money work for him. So it's the same thing when you guys go out and do that. But like I said, there's no knock. If that's what you want to do and your health is at risk, I'm all for it. But just to do it because you don't want to work out, I think you're skipping the steps to really become quote unquote better. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, but working out won't but in reality, working out won't erase your problems. It's not a fix your night. It's not a pill you could take and then your problems is gone. But what it will do is build that mental fortitude to make you tougher to face them. You see what I'm saying? So you're not so quick to turn your back or run from your problems. You see what I'm saying? So by you facing those problems or those fears that you have, it'll make you stronger just by facing it and looking in the mirror and ready to take it on. You know what I'm saying? And we have to look at problems, even to just change the mindset of it and really think about it as more of it's an obstacle in our way and we have to find a solution to it. So I think just little mindset um, hacks and the shift in our language will definitely change our mindset or shift our mindset to have a better outlook on how we view problems or situations or trials and tribulations in our life. That whatever it is, we're gonna become better because of it. All right. So with the stress there, it don't go away. These are things that are in life. I think we have a misconception about life that it should be a crystal staircase or a bunch of roses. No, not at all. Like when I tell clients and I go up in weight, they're like, Oh my God, Tristan, you going up in weight? Yes, I am. But I said, you're not in the first grade still, are you? Right. So each level, you got to keep improving, keep getting better. So it is in life. You know what I mean? So next time you stress, man, and feel overwhelmed or mentally drained, take a nap. Don't reach for your distractions. Don't run for comfort. Run to work, get busy, tap into your creative side, go lift something heavy, move your body, clear your mind. Even if it's a walk around the block a few times, you feel a lot better. I've done it all the time too, in some type of form of meditative work or something like that. Because, the strongest version of you is built under pressure, just like diamonds, you know what I'm saying? Pressure either bust pipes or build diamonds. So which one are you? You know what I mean? If you like this video, hit the like button. Shout out to Boss Mac once again. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with someone you think who needs this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more than fitness. It's Alchemy Fitness, and this is where we transfer you from lead to gold, mentally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, of course. You know what I mean? So you're looking for online training, hit the link in the description. See if we can work together. All right? So don't forget, y'all, train hard, train smart, and train safe. Till next time. Peace.